Hello. Alright, so I'm back. The lighting sucks. I don't think that's any better. Okay, whatever. So, trying to edit it so it's a little more clear for all of you. So I thought instead of a workout, because I didn't film one, I would talk about another fitness topic that's really pertinent to my life right now that I'm trying to figure out, and that is cardio. So cardio is everyone's favorite and least favorite topic because everyone has an opinion on low intensity burns fat, no, high intensity is better, no, you should run, no, you should bike, you should do fancy skipping. I read some really weird theories out there, but I wanted to give my take on it. There are tons of opinions on this. In my opinion, you could disagree, that's cool. So do you, but as I try and transition into a new workout plan for Ramadan, like the fasting month, and for the summer, I wanted to touch on some cardio myths things that I believe are myths because I don't think they're true, and how I would interpret it. So, cardio myths, I have all of them written down so you don't have like awkward pausing and rambling like I'm doing now. So, myth number 1. More cardio is always better. Basically, you just have to keep running and you will be thin. So for some people this may work. Like if you run 10 miles a day, like 5 days a week, that's like 50 miles a week. I mean, the chances are you will, be a slimmer person. But I use the word slim and then I use the word lean. Like I think they're very different terms. Slim I would interpret as maybe not having a lot of muscle tone, but just like taking up less space on this earth. Whereas lean I would interpret as having like a muscle base and then having less fat around the muscle that you have. Does that make sense? Yeah. So what the issue is if you interpret more cardio as always better, you will learn that you will quickly adapt to how much cardio you're doing and you'll have to keep doing more. So what that means is if you off the bat do an hour of cardio 5 days a week, after like maybe a month or two, your body will adapt and it will understand, okay, so I expect Alina is going to do like 5 hours of cardio a week. So we're just going to change the way we intake energy and export energy, and so that'll just be our baseline. In other words, your body will stop reacting to it because it just kind of expects that it's going to happen. You have to remember that your body responds to change. Like a change in stimulus, a change in activity is what your body responds to. If you do the same activity every day, your body knows what a habit is. It understands that, okay, so this is a daily thing. All right, so now I'm going to just expect. For example, I walk like an hour or so every day to get to and from class. My body, I don't incorporate that into like my exercise simply because my body knows it's going to happen. I'm no longer burning like some type of excess amount of calories from it because it's just something that's become such a daily thing for me. And that's something I have to live with, and that's fine. So you have to understand that if you're going to bike for an hour every day, at some point your body will know that that's happening. And if you don't increase it, if you don't change up the intervals, if you don't change up the speeds, condense the time sometimes, then you will actually end up having to do more and more cardio all the time. And what that'll lead to is burnout. Cardio burnout is essentially the idea that you are doing so much that your muscles are shot, your body just can't handle anymore. But if you don't do it, then you will end up gaining weight simply because your body's used to you expending that energy anyway. So you're stuck between like a hard place and a rock. That's not the saying, I'm sorry. But in that case, you have to do a lot of like recovery and like recuperation type of stuff that is like really annoying, and it takes a lot of time, and unfortunately a lot of it does end up in excess of weight. So I know a lot of people aren't fond of it, which is why I encourage people not to rely on cardio as their main way of losing weight, simply because in most cases if you do too much too quickly, you can't sustain it, or your body gets so used to it that you stop seeing results. Myth number 2. High intensity interval training is always better than low intensity, steady state. And the other way, low intensity is always better than high intensity. I disagree with both. I don't think one is better than the other. I think both have like very, very important strengths. If you are new to exercise at all, going and doing like an entire workout based on sprints may be the worst idea, because your body's not used to how much you're demanding of it. You have to slowly get your body into the groove of like, okay, now I'm asking this of it, now I'm asking this of it. This is called progressive overload. It is the idea where you start at point 1 and then you go to 2 and then 3 and then 4. You gradually increase distance, or you gradually increase time, or you gradually increase speed. These are all tools that you have to make cardio harder, and these are what help you avoid like the plateau, which is what I described earlier. I just missed the word. The plateau is when you stop seeing results simply because your body is so used to what you're doing that it has no reason to change anymore. And the reason I don't think HIIT or LISS, which are high intensity and low intensity essentially, I don't think one is better than the other, is because I believe that if you do only one, you are missing the benefits of the other, and then you'll either lead to you'll get to a plateau or a burnout, or one of those. So I like to alternate, and that's worked for me. It keeps me from getting bored. Low intensity is good though for someone who's just starting out, because it's easier on your joints, it's easier on your tendons, your ligaments, everything, and it helps get your body into the groove of exercise. High intensity is like sprints. It's like either on a treadmill or a bike, or it's like jump squats or like plyometric type exercises, and those are really great. Like I do them, but I would never recommend them to someone who's just starting out, who has no like activity level, because they'll just burn out, in the sense that their body will like reject and be like, no, I can't do this, I'm gonna just like tear something or break something, and that's never an ideal situation. Other than that, I think both, like the benefits of both low intensity steady state cardio, what's cool about it is that it doesn't take away all your energy. So if you were to do it before or after lifting, you would still be able to lift. You would have the energy necessary for lifting. Low intensity is also usually easier on people's joints, especially if they're doing it on like a bike or elliptical. A lot of people have like knee pain and stuff like that. It depends on your situation. Low intensity is usually like your better go-to. HIIT though you can do in a safe way. I like to do HIIT when like I've been too active on like my knees. I'm like only 22, so I am only 22, so I don't have like knee issues, but I don't want to get knee issues, so I do HIIT on either a bike or a treadmill. I go back and forth so I don't like overdo one thing. So HIIT is better in the sense that it's like more bang for your buck, where you're getting a lot in a shorter amount of time, because you're doing sprints, you're doing harder stuff, and you're going all out, which is great because both, this is like a longer story, but both have different energy systems. So I wouldn't understand the idea of only promoting one, because then you're taking away from the other energy system that you could be using. So I'd say go back and forth. Don't listen to someone who says only HIIT will burn fat. Both will, if you do them smart. If you're like running 2 hours a day, like every day, no, that's not smart. But you know, a 5K one day and then 10 minutes of sprints another day, and you don't have to do it every day. So that was myth number 2. Myth number 3, certain cardio machines are superior. I hear this a lot, where I was on the bike and someone told me that, Alina, you're wasting your time because a bike isn't legit cardio. Every cardio machine has advantages and disadvantages. Never choose a machine simply because someone told you it is better. I think they all have their own strengths, and my key to all of this is variety. If you want to prevent a plateau, if you want to keep making progress, you have to keep your body guessing. If you do the Stairmaster 20 minutes every single day for the first few weeks, yeah, you're gonna see a lot of progress, but then at some point you're not. Point blank, you will not. You have to make your body constantly try and adapt to its environment and just keep changing the environment, and that's great. I'm not saying that you have to come up with like 10 different types of like cardio workouts. That's not necessary. That's pretty excessive actually, but you have a lot of machines. There are stairs, treadmill, bike, a weird type of elliptical, an arc trainer. There are all these devices now. So I don't think that, I think some are naturally a little more difficult. Like a lot of people find running more difficult than they find an elliptical, but that doesn't mean that you should only run. So I would say variety, and you can make anything hard if you actually want to. This is the trick. If you actually want something to be hard, you'll make it hard. So you'll increase the intensity of the bike to make it harder. If you're like leisurely biking, then obviously the bike will be easier. I don't get it. There's like no common sense left in the world. But yeah, variety. Also, the joint thing is another thing where if you aren't in shape enough to start a running regimen straight away, because it could hurt your ankle or your shins or your knees, especially for new runners, this is an issue because they want to do too much too quickly. Like slowly incorporate running. So do a bike one day to get your cardiovascular health up and then run, or like do a walk run type of thing so you don't overdo it but you're still like, you know, making your way through this process. Myth number 4, fasted cardio is the best cardio. So this may sound a little hypocritical because a lot of people do know that I like to do fasted cardio. I don't do it because I think that it's like better than not. But okay, wait, let me first explain. Fasted cardio is the idea of getting up and just getting your cardio over with before you eat anything. A lot of people like this because it's time efficient. You do it before you have like time to process that you have to do an exercise routine and get it out of the way, all of that. And that's why I do it. If I don't do cardio when I wake up, I'm less inclined to do it. But a lot of people require food, you know, like a human staple is food. So if you want to eat like an hour or so before you go work out, regardless of its weights or cardio, that doesn't make it I got distracted, I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, so that's what fasted cardio is, and I like to do it because it saves time. But if you work out in the evening, then obviously you're like, fasted cardio is probably not your ideal situation because that means like not eating all day. You don't have to fast in order for cardio to be effective. If you're working hard enough, then you're fine. The advantages of fasted cardio, the idea that it burns more fat because you don't have carbs in your system and all of that. If there's any difference, and a lot of studies have said there isn't, any study that has indicated a difference, it's been like negligible, like less than 1%. And at that point, like, move on in your life, it's okay. Myth number 5. Cardio means you can eat whatever you want. There is this idea where if I go for a run, that means I can justify going to an all-you-eat buffet and having like 10 platefuls. It doesn't work like that. Numerically speaking, if you follow the construction of cardio in versus cardio out in terms of how you lose weight, which isn't like the only way to do it, by the way, so don't just like not eat because that's not the solution, but eating everything is also not the solution. Obviously, if you do cardio, you can get away with eating more because how much your body is expending energy like has a toll on that. But one session of cardio does not mean an entire day of everything goes. I've tried it. It has not worked for me. Okay, that was like a really short one because like the math just doesn't add up. One, for reference, in running for like an hour on a treadmill, according to my Fitbit, is maybe 600 calories to 700 calories burned based on how fast I go. And what I consider like a cheat meal, I added up the other day and it was like pancakes and 2 appetizers and like a cheeseburger, and that was in of it itself at least 1,000. So as you can see, math. Myth number 6, I don't know which one is better, but you have to do cardio after weights. I can see why this is a popular theory, and I do agree with it to a certain extent, but it depends on what your goals are. So if you only want to be stronger, you don't care about anything, you want to be able to lift the most amount of weights off the ground, then yeah, you should do cardio after you lift because then you have more energy that you can use for lifting. That makes sense, like math again. But if your goal is simply to become leaner or to like lose weight, it doesn't necessarily matter when you do it, simply because and I say this like with the tangent of everyone is very different, like either way you're getting it done. So I like to sometimes do it before, because I know if I wait until after, I'll find an excuse not to do it, and then I will leave without ever doing cardio. So if I know myself well enough to know that a lot of the times I have to do cardio first to make sure that I do it at all. If you are that type of person, then do it first, because doing it before is a lot better than doing it after. If I do want to lift really heavy that day, then yeah, I'll probably try and do cardio after, simply because I want to be able to make sure that I squat as much as I do or deadlift as much as I want to, etc. But if your goal is just to like lose weight or become leaner, honestly, just do it whenever it's convenient for you, and don't make the excuse that, oh, I had to do it after, but then like I ran out of time and so I didn't do it, because that's not how life works. If it did, like, be a lot easier than it is now. There's 6 myths. I hope that cleared something up. If you have any questions though, let me know. I can do another part to this, because it was a lot of fun not editing a workout. Though I'll do that next time. Yeah. I should go now. I have to study. Yeah, do cardio. It's good for you and your heart. But don't do too much, because then that's bad. That's basically my takeaway. Alright.